Welcome everyone, my name is Egwin, welcome to Scope of Life and to this week's video update. This time, finally, I'm going to show you a lying down resting position. One that will give you a great number of optional health benefits. First off, you'll be able to reduce stress, you'll be able to normalize and regulate your breathing pattern, and most importantly, it is a really amazing tool to restructure your spine, not only the lumbar spine node, but the lumbar, the thoracical and the cervical spine as well. It's a really nice tool to realign the physical body and to reduce physical stress down to a minimum. This is also one of the methods that go along with the forward head posture series, because doing this method, performing this resting position over prolonged periods of time, say using it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, or even longer on a regular basis or fairly regular basis, will also help you to permanently restructure all sorts of structural imbalances that you might have in your spine, like anterior pelvic tilt or forward head posture or a collapsed thoracic spine and so on. Let's jump right into it. First off, if you want to jump to a specific point in the video, in the description below are all the details, all the time codes that you need. Still, as always, I suggest watch the whole thing in order to get a holistic grasp of what we're really doing here. I'm going to show you the exercise first, exactly how it's done, and then I'm going to guide you through how to actually perform it properly. As you've just seen, we want to bring ourselves lying on our backs down on a hard surface. Now this is very important. You cannot do this exercise properly somewhere in a soft bed. You really need a hard surface on which your whole bone structure can actually restructure itself. Whenever you lie in a very soft mattress, that won't do you any good for realigning the spine. So now, best thing to do is literally go down on the ground, maybe simply using an exercise mat, a yoga mat, something like that, or also maybe a camping mattress or something like that, but don't use the air-filled, thicker camping mattresses. Once again, they would completely distort the spine and will not help you to realign it properly. There are certain stages we want to run through. Stage number 1 is position ourselves properly. So we lie on our backs, we take whatever we need for the exercise and place it close by. In this case, for some of you, it might be a couple of books of different thicknesses. Not everyone was going to need that, but some of you might. Next part, place your legs in such a way on the mat using the proper distance between your feet so that your thighs and your knees, they stand completely self-sufficient, meaning they shouldn't lean together like so, they shouldn't fall out completely. You want the legs in a stable position where they carry themselves, where you do not need a lot or preferably no muscles whatsoever in order to maintain the leg position. This is very important. The next thing, if you have long hair like I have, a knot at the back of the head is going to be a little bit of a problem. So later on I'm going to open the hair, because otherwise you can't really position the head and the cervical spine properly. The first thing we're going to do then is make sure to realign the center part of the cervical spine. That's the most easiest part to realign, or to check how it should actually be positioned. It can be a little bit tricky if you're completely on your own. If you have a second person, this would be a great time for them to step in and to help you. The middle part of the cervical spine, when you lie completely down on your back, I'll show you in a second, should be completely parallel to the ground. Now, in my case, for instance, and I'm sure in the case of many of you as well, this will be the case as soon as you lie down without anything underneath your head. No pillow, no nothing. For some people who have either a collapsed thoracic spine or a very strong forward head posture, or a combination of both, they probably need something underneath their skull, back here, underneath the occiput, back here, the occipital parts of the skull back here. For that we use different books in order to find the exact height of what should rest underneath my head. And that's the first thing I'm going to show you right now. So I place my head down on the mat right now. My hairband is removed. I try to place all my hair on the right side so that you can see my neck from the left side. Now this middle part of the neck here should be parallel to the ground. So if you place your fingers underneath here, it should be completely parallel to the ground. If, for instance, you have a strong arched thoracic spine and your head drops down like so, now you see right here where the head attaches to the thorax, it's much higher than down here. So now my head is actually like dropping back down. In this case, we would need books. So I'm trying to simulate right now what you have to do if your back is not straight already. Mine is straight already, so I wouldn't need the books. I'm only using the books right now to show you how you should use them if you need them. But if your neck looks like mine, you don't need any books. You don't have to place anything underneath here. You just simply use two fingers, bring them in here and open them up like so, and try to travel the way from your thorax to your occipital part of the skull, and make sure that this part is fairly parallel to the ground. Now, I have a couple of books here. Say, for instance, I would have this very strong arched thoracic spine and I need some books underneath. Make sure to grab the hand with both hands on both sides, lift it up. It's very important that you don't lift your head with your neck muscles. You actually need your hands to do all the work. I'm going to zoom out later and show you exactly what the arms are doing here. So you want to lift up the head, you want to pull slightly towards the top of your head, back here with both arms. As soon as you're up, you place one hand in the middle of the head and you use the other one to bring in the books.
Now once again, you lift the head using your arm and you place the books underneath your skull. Then again, in order to be balanced left and right, you take the second hand and you gently pull on your head, pull out towards this way and lift up a little bit and place the head back down on the books. Now observe closely. How does this feel? How does this feel out here in your throat? How does this feel in your upper chest area? Depending on how it feels, does your voice sound a little bit strange? Do you feel pressure here? Does it feel uncomfortable somewhere in the shoulder area? Depending on that and on the shape of your neck in relation to the ground, you decide how many books you need. Right now you see, obviously for me, there are much too many books in there, because right now my cervical spine actually angles upwards, back and upwards like so. So actually with the books, I brought my spine in a forward head position. Again, not for some people, you need books. Normally I don't need them, I'm only simulating what you have to do if you need them. Again, you grab in behind your neck, you lift your head using your arm, and you take out, say, one book, one of the thicker ones. You use the second hand again to place the head back down. Ah, okay, yeah. Now, okay, I see, yeah, it's more comfortable right now. And you do that, pulling out thicker books and thinner books, or placing them back in, placing thinner books back in instead of thicker books, and so on, until your neckline back here is parallel to the ground. If you have a second person who can take a look and tell you when your neckline is parallel to the ground, that's perfect. For me now, I'm going to take out the books again, as I don't need them. Look. And that's the most important thing. Replace your head back on the ground with this gentle pull on your occiput, out and up. And make sure that the plane of your face is also roughly parallel to the ground. This would be a great position if you want to give CPR. This is one of the great positions for anyone because it completely, it completely tightens the whole throat area. So what you want to have, you want to have your face also roughly parallel to the ground, and you want to check that your neckline is also parallel to the ground. So that's the first thing you have to do here. I'm going to show you the arm movement to lift your head once again, now zoomed out. See, your legs are up already. They stand alone. You're completely flat on the ground. Now if you want to move some books in, you want to lift your head. As mentioned before, you do not want to use your whole throat or neck muscles in order to lift the head. You also do not want to use your abdominals. What you do want is you're going to take your arms, wrap the hands behind your neck, like so. One on the left and one on the right, with the middle and index finger underneath the occipital bony parts back here, and with your thumb out here on the jawline. This later on will help you in finding the right flex of the head. You'll grab in here, and now you gently pull up and out. So actually the lifting the head off the ground motion is as if you were bringing the elbows back up and down. So it's actually a movement that you use your arms to do. Now, if I only bring my elbows down, now obviously I create a lot of pressure in my cervical spine because I pull my head down towards the body. So the idea of moving the elbows down, which actually lifts my head off the mat, is accompanied by stretching your arms at the same time. So actually it's this kind of motion, the elbow moving down and the arm stretching, but obviously the elbow not moving down that far, only lifting as much as necessary in order for the head to be off the ground, and then it's more the stretching motion of actually my forearm that lifts the head and allows for a little bit of a pressure reduction in my cervical spine, like so. Now if I continue the movement of my hands right here, it would be this. At a slight angle out to the top of my head and over the top of my head, not completely parallel to the ground, but in a slight angle out and up, like so. You're going to use this movement a lot, so make sure to get it right from the beginning.
Alright, now I'm going to show you the whole thing right from the beginning up until where we've ended right now, from a different perspective to get a better idea. First of all, when you lie down, already make sure to lie down sideways. Do not go down like so. And for later, it's really important after you've done this exercise to not get up like so. Do not make a sit up to get back up, rather roll out to the side and get back up. Otherwise, you'll counteract some of the positive aspects that you gain through this exercise instantly. Now, you come down to the ground like so, you roll on the mattress and bring yourself into this comfortable, completely straight position. First of all, make sure that your legs are placed in a position that's comfortable for you. For some people, this might be with the legs rather close together. For some other people, this might be with the legs really far apart. Remember, the only thing that is really important, make sure that the legs are in a lay-ball stability, meaning that however they are positioned, however far out or narrow together they are, the only thing that's really important is that you don't have to hold them. If they fall out to the side, or if they drop to the middle, and you have to maintain their open and calm position by muscle, then you don't have the position right. Make sure to find the proper position of your feet in relation to each other so that the legs stand on their own. So that's really important. From this position on, come up to the head. If you need to put in books, you try to figure that out once at the beginning. After that, you only do the exercise.
you do not mind the books anymore. In my case, I don't need books, so I'm going to show it to you without books, but wouldn't be much difference. If I want to put books in, again, you grab the head, make sure to lift the head using your arms. Remember, it was this arm motion, this lifting the elbow and stretching out the forearm. Lift the head. Take just one hand underneath the head, then you can grab a book and place the book in if you need one. If not, you just simply come with the arms up, grab underneath the head, pull it up a little bit and pull it out of the body, away from the body. Be gentle, as the muscles back here, they tense up really quickly. So be gentle, just pull a little bit until you feel your spine or the muscles wrapping around the spine. Make sure to replace your head in such a way that it's neither tilted to the front nor tilted to the back, but that it's in a neutral position and that your face is parallel to the ground. Then replace the head down to the ground in such a way that as soon as it touches the ground and you feel the weight of the head being on the ground again, you still feel a little bit of this opening, of this stretching aspect in your cervical spine. Just a tiny little bit. The next thing, we haven't talked about that yet, now it's time for it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the pelvis. Now this is a little bit harder to do. Now you take your thumb and place it on your spina iliaca anterior superior. This is the bone of your hip joint, or rather the hip bone. It's the part of the hip bone that protrudes to the front, right up here. So it's between the navel and pubic bone height, and you'll feel this bone on left and right side. It's this knot on the left and on the right side. Place your thumb here, place the rest of the fingers on the rear of the pelvis. You actually want to have the whole hip bone in your hand, like so. The motion you're going to make with your hands is this. You're going to push your hands away from the body and you're going to turn the fingers upwards. So from this position, you're going to push the pelvis away and turn the fingers upwards. Obviously, it's not going to go 30 centimeters down, but that's the motion you want to make. You can help yourself, as from this position it's almost impossible to lift the pelvis with your hands, and you shouldn't use too much of your core muscles here. You can help yourself by pulling with your legs. It's actually as if you wanted to pull the foot towards yourself, just that the foot stays where it is, and you imagine the knee going exactly that way. So as if the knee was actually pushing out in the same direction and the thigh goes, like this way and out. When you do that, you'll be able to lift the pelvis up a little bit by this motion with your legs. It's actually you pull your pelvis towards your legs, and in this process also lift it a tiny little bit. So from here, pull, grab the pelvis, rotate it. You can use your abdominal muscles here a little bit in order to help you to lengthen the lumbar spine. You want to lengthen the whole lumbar spine so that it rests completely on the ground. And also here you want to feel this tiny, tiny, tiny little tension as soon as you let the pelvis drop down again. Make sure that the pelvis stays in this rotation at that point when you place it back on the ground. Now there's only one thing left to do, and that's the positioning of the hands. Make sure to bring the arms out from the body at a 45-degree angle. Now we're doing one arm after the other, not both at the same time. We use our shoulders to push the arm out and then rotate the arm. And then we're going to release this tension, again beginning from the shoulder into the arm. So it's not turning the arm and then pushing out, it's pushing the shoulder away and bringing the arm further in a supination, meaning palm facing upwards. So from here, simply push out, turn the left arm even further into supination, and now relax from the shoulder. The next thing is we want to roll the left arm in. Make sure to roll from the opposite side now, starting from the hand. You start to pronate your hand and forearm. And you just simply keep on doing that. You simply keep on trying to roll the arm until it's pulled onto your lower belly area. What you do not want to do is something like bend the arm and then flap it down to your belly. Really make sure to pull it in like so. So the thumb goes up and in, and the thumb goes, and now the left arm rests on the belly in the position I want to have it. I do the same on the right side, so I push away from my shoulder, bring the arm into a supination, relaxing my shoulder. Now I turn, I pronate my forearm and bring the arm in until it rests comfortably on my lower belly area. Now this is exactly what we're going to do in order to position ourselves into this exercise. First thing, lie down. Second thing, reposition the head. Make sure to have a slight feeling of a stretch. Next thing, give yourself a couple of seconds of rest. Then you're gonna go down to your pelvic ring and you're gonna reposition the pelvic ring. Push it down and place it in the flexed position, back down on the ground. Then position one arm, roll it in, then position the other arm and roll it in. And then just lie there for as long as it's comfortable. Or if you actually want to work with this exercise in order to properly and continuously restructure and reopen your spine, you just lie there as long as you feel this slight tension that you created by pulling on your neck and on your lumbar spine. As soon as this tension is gone and you simply feel the whole spine more or less with the same, you have a feeling for the whole spine and it's more or less evenly distributed around the whole spine, so no special areas of tension that you created due to pulling. Then you're gonna go a second time. Then you're once again gonna grab the head, gonna pull on it, replace it
back on the mat. Then you're going to give yourself a couple of seconds and reposition the pelvis once again, exactly the same way than before, by lifting it using your legs, pushing it away and placing it back down. Then you're going to use one arm and the second arm again, place them on your lower belly area again. And once again, you're going to lie there until all the tension that you created by pulling away in your cervical spine and by pushing away the pelvis in your lumbar spine is gone. It's really important to be gentle with this and to take your time. Now, this exercise stems from a very, very similar exercise in Alexander technique, this resting position. But later on I'll give some more intricacies that are not included in Alexander technique and that will really help you to work with this. If you want to properly work with this even further, one good thing is you can do this one segment at a time. One segment from the top, one segment down here. You rest, you relax, you wait until the muscles release. Then you go and open the next segment. One up here, one down here in your lumbar spine. And you do that. One segment from up here, one segment from down here, one segment from up here, one segment from down. One segment up, one segment down, one segment from up, one segment from down, until you literally opened your whole spine. And then you give yourself another minute or two in this position, just lying there with your feet up in this comfortable, really easy and soft position with your hands on your lower belly area, and relax and give your muscles and your physical bony structure time to readjust to this position. Then you're simply going to roll out to the side and gently bring yourself back into an upright position and finally then stand up again. This is really important. This training exercise is designed to rebuild trust in your muscles, which is why you really have to go slow and with the minimum amount of pressure, of tension that you need in order to bring yourself into the posture. It's really important that after such an exercise you do not instantly go and do some heavy weights or do some head banging or some really erratic moves. This is a resting position, and after that you should give yourself a little bit of time before you do really hard and intense physical work or work out. And so one thing is building trust, and the other thing is equalizing the pressure in the muscles and equalizing the bony structure. So basically in this position, what will happen over time is that your psoas will release, that old tension in your back muscles will release, and that in the course of a couple of weeks and months, if you really have a very distorted structure at the moment, you will actually realize your whole body structure changing back to a more neutral and centered state. And that's exactly where we're going to go with this exercise. So this is one key exercise also for fixing forward head posture, but not only that. This exercise will also help you to fix things like anterior pelvic tilt, or at least to work in their favor. And as it's a gentle, awareness-driven exercise, it will reconnect you with yourself and it allow you enough time to also figure out how to deal with things that might emerge in the process, like especially when you work on your lumbar spine, you release a lot of stress and so on. But also this position, due to lying on your back, you'll naturally have normal abdominal breathing as your companion. You don't have to think about it, this just happens naturally, and normal abdominal breathing helps you to alleviate also psychological stress as well. Now this is one step, one possible step in restructuring your whole body structure, your whole body type. It is not the only one, and it is sure as hell not the only possibility. But it is a very good possibility that I got to know and that I've worked with great outcomes actually, not only on myself but also on many other people. So right now, I'm going to show you the whole exercise done in a flow, roughly in the time period that you should do it as well. And then that's it for now. So I'm just gonna come down here, I'm gonna lie down on my mat from the side. Make sure to find a comfortable position for my whole body. Give yourself a couple of breaths in this position first. Now this is a position where breathing in your chest is so completely inefficient and takes so much energy that even the most stressed out person will naturally revert to abdominal breathing really quickly, say within a minute or 2 minutes at the most. I've only ever met one person who didn't get comfortable in this position because he really had a lot of problems in his thoracic spine and it made a lot of pressure. But that's what we are here to fix. Now we start with the exercise. Bring the arms up. Even here, notice, I'll use my arms, but I drive them on the ground rather than lifting them completely up. Use the ground as your friend as much as possible. Bring the arms up. Bring them underneath your head. Now we go with the assumption that you know already if you need some books underneath your head or not. You just simply lift your head. Now would be the time to change to one hand and bringing the books with the other if you need books. You gently pull out the head towards the crown and then replace it on the ground. Make sure that your face is roughly parallel to the ground so that your throat area is open. Now I can feel just a very, very, very gentle stretch back here in my cervical spine. Next thing, we're going to bring the hands into the pelvis. Going to pull with the legs, activate the abdominals just a tiny little bit, just an impulse, and push the pelvis away like so, and then place it back on the ground in this rotation, and let go. Now my abdominal muscles are relaxed again as well. Now you push out from the left shoulder to the left fingers and supinate the left arm, relaxing the shoulder. Pronate the left arm starting from the hand, rolling it in. This will naturally turn the upper arm as well. Now the same thing on the right side. Push away the shoulder towards the fingers. Relax the whole right arm. Pronate it in.
until it rests comfortably on your lower belly area. And now give yourself a couple of minutes rest to get to know the posture, to see what's going on in your body. And wait until all the tension in your neck and in your lumbar spine is gone. I'll cut this short here. Now let's say these have been, say, 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes. Next thing I'm going to do is go to my head again. I'm gonna grab my head again. I'm gonna lift it up using my arms only, pulling it away a little bit, replacing it on the ground. I'm gonna replace my pelvis. I'm going to push out the left arm, relax, roll it in. I'm going to push out the right arm, relax from the shoulder, roll it in from the hand, and relax again. And now I'll give it a couple of minutes again, as long as it takes until the tension in the lower back and the spine is at a minimum or gone completely. If you do this and you move down one segment after the other, and you move up one segment after the other, obviously at some point the cervical spine ended. As soon as you're in your thoracic spine, still you're gonna try and lift the head with your arms, and now it's a gentle moving to the left and right action with your rib cage upwards. That will open the thoracic elements. It's as if one rib on the right and one rib on the left and one rib on the right and one rib on the left were stepping stairs towards your head. So that's how you can actually open your thoracic spine as well, and not just the cervical spine, because obviously just simply with pulling with the arms you'll only be able to open the segments until the shoulders are attached, because then you can't really pull away your head with your feet. So obviously as soon as we are in the thoracic spine, you will need this gentle left and right motion, also one segment after the other, to reopen the segments in the thoracic spine. And again, it's always with this pushing away of the pelvis area. To get out of the position after you've done it, you just simply roll to the side, push yourself into an upright position, come either to a seated position like me right now, or if you want to stand up, make sure to bring your feet completely underneath your spine and then stand up in line with your spine. Just make sure not to pull the head in the neck. Make sure to make your leg, to keep your neck as long as possible, and stand up like so. So let me show you once again how to get up after we've done the exercise. When we are in this lying down resting position, you simply place one hand to the side, you roll to the side, you either sit up completely like I showed before, or you bring your legs underneath your body somehow. It's not that precise, so don't really make science out of getting up properly. And from here on, just simply place one foot in front. Make sure that your spine, and especially your cervical spine, is still rather in line with the rest of the spine, and then stand up with this forward
impulse that you give yourself. The only thing that would really be a good idea is try not to stand up like so, and don't try to stand up like so. Once again, with this very strongly tilted backwards neck. That's not something that helps you with maintaining the structure. And that's the reason why we're talking about how to get up in the first place. As I mentioned before, when we're down on the ground in this resting position, the basic idea is to give the body a really good opportunity to restructure itself. Why can it do that in this position? As mentioned in a couple of previous videos already, this really strong curvature of the spine that is taught in modern anatomy books is not a healthy and perfectly aligned shape of the spine. It is already a distorted version, because a really healthy spine is much more straight. It's definitely not completely straight, so the lordos and kyphos parts of the spine, they are definitely there, but they are not that intense. It's more that when you lie down on your back, that all the spinal processes of the spine, they actually build almost a perfect line. I say almost, not completely, obviously, especially in the cervical spine. The cervical spine in a healthy, normal person does not touch the ground completely. So the processus spinosi of the cervical spine normally do not touch the ground, because my occiput back here and my thorax down here, they definitely protrude further than my cervical spine further to the back. Anyway, the main idea of this exercise is you want to restructure your body. You want all the muscles, all tension that is not necessary for a perfectly upright and aligned posture to dissipate. And the method to do that is by building trust in the physical structure. So basically you lie down, you position your spine, you give a gentle impulse to the muscle, a gentle stretching impulse, and then you don't do anything. It's completely different to, say, a stretch where you actually use a dynamic approach, or you actually use a permanent external force or something like that. This is completely different. This is really about regaining the muscle's trust, about bringing the muscle in an opened position and then allowing it to explore this new position, allowing the muscle to explore its newly gained, not strength, but length, sorry, its newly gained length. Because as soon as it realizes there is no danger, I can relax, I can open, then literally your body regains trust in an open structure. And that's actually hierarchically much higher, the hierarchy much higher up than, say, some sort of distortion patterns, some sort of compensational patterns, some sort of mental or emotional trauma and stuff like that. So this is why you can really work deep with this exercise. Also, it will take probably around 10 to 20 minutes at the most for someone who hasn't done that much of a training with this exercise. For some people who are much faster in relaxing and who have some experience with this type of work, they will be through the whole structure a lot faster. And yes, there might be the case where some people actually need a couple of sessions before they really feel that all segments of the spine are really open. But that doesn't really matter, it's not a problem, that's why this exercise is here. So this exercise will help you to coordinate actually the muscles and help you to reset the muscles into a neutral, relaxed and yet still efficient way. What you can do in order to integrate this, it is a good idea, say, to do this exercise once a day or once every 2 days or something like that. Take yourself 10-15 minutes in order to perform this exercise. I suggest you do it either in a lunch break or in the evening. It won't do that much good in the morning. You'll still have an effect, but it won't be that intense. One more thing that's really important to understand, that this position is not meant as a permanent sleeping position. So if you say, well, my mattress in my bed is really hard and I'm just gonna do it before I go to bed, fine, do that. As long as you keep in mind that you're allowed to move throughout the night. Do not see that position as something, I go to bed, say at 9:30 in the evening, and I have to wake up like so at 6 a.m. That's definitely not a good idea and not the way to go. This position is meant as a relaxation method in between, as a restructuring method, as a working approach to rebalance a structure, and it will also rid you more and more and more gradually from collapsed spinal problems or anterior pelvic tilt or frontal head position and stuff like that, because it just naturally balances the body. All that being said, I wish you all the best trying out this new exercise. If you have any questions, this is a little bit more complex than most of the exercises I've posted before, then please ask me, ask for more advice, leave some comments in the comment box, ask questions, write me an email, whatever you need. Maybe if it's a more complex question, I'll do a video answer, something like that. But just make sure to keep the conversation going if you find yourself in some sort of trouble or you find yourself in needing some more information in some specific aspects of it. Other than that, I wish you all the best. I thank you for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This method, combined with a lot of other things that I've posted before and will be posting in the very near future, is a really great tool to work on your structure, and that in a sustainable way, so that altogether you really get into this regaining your strength, regaining your coordination, regaining your connection to yourself, and most importantly in this case, regaining your perfectly aligned, healthy and relaxed, but still very efficient and mobile structure. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful time and see you around soon.